Welcome back to Mascot Media Video YouTube channel. My name is Gilbert Angonye. My job is to make the web development simple and easy for you in this generation of IT so you can start and finish building your web project. This video is considered to be a fundamental knowledge when it comes to HTML in web development.
In our today's tutorial, we'll be taking a look at form, HTML form. We'll take it to our head too. We have our last server on so it'll be easier for us to see and to save time. Here, HTML5. In form, I would like to divide it into two. I'm going to have two separate sections of this form. And right here in this tutorial, we'll be considering every single element that can be seen in HTML5 form. At the time we are treating elements and attributes, I told you that there are some elements and attributes that I'm not going to mention. I'm not going to discuss, rather. And form happened to be one of those elements. Then when we went to attributes, I told you that there are some attributes I'm not going to discuss, I'm not going to explain. Even if I mention them, I'm not going to explain them. And the elements in forms happen to be part of it. And that is why today, in our tutorial, I am here to tell you all that I know about HTML form. Form is an element, and there are other elements too that could be seen inside form. There are numerous elements that could be seen inside form. Elements like button, data list, Fieldset, form itself, input, label, legend, meter, upgroup, action, output, progress, select, text area. These elements are to be seen in form elements. And that is why in today's tutorial, we'll take our time to take a look at these elements. But I tell you that these elements mentioned now, or even the mentioned ones, are definitely not going to be our problem. They're not our main reason for being here. The headache we will have in HTML5 will not be the elements. Will not be the elements, but definitely is going to be the attributes. When we're talking of attributes, we are taking a look at property attribute and value attribute. That is exactly where our problem will be. If I'm spending hours on this very section, form, on this very topic, HTML5 form, if I'm spending hours on it, I tell you that the hours will be spent on attributes. So, in order to waste our time, let's see what we can achieve today. One thing again you should know is these attributes are many. As I've mentioned the elements, you can see that there are many, but the attributes are more. And because this is a video which people would like to go through, if it's 30 minutes or 45 minutes or 1 hour or 1 hour 30 minutes, people would like to go through it. And if I'm to use timestamps and also have to teach in a way so that people who are going through it will use the timestamps and locate whatever they want. So I wouldn't want to scatter it so it will be difficult for someone to grab something if they are searching through the video. So that's why I will start with the ones you are familiar with, a normal form. But I'm not building a project, and you need to be aware of this, that I am not building a project. So don't expect a project in this very tutorial. If I'm going to build a project on form, it will be after I've done something that you are supposed to have. All right, to start with this, let's go to Fieldset. It's supposed to start with form like this. I'm supposed to start with form like this, but I'm not going to do that. So let me start with Fieldset. These are elements. Inside our Fieldset, we'll have our legend. We are here so you know what they do. Then I can have a title. Let me carry this form and put it inside. Then this form now will come inside. Hope you grab what is happening now. We have something like this. We have the Fieldset, that's the element. Then inside it, you have a legend. Legend is like a title. When I save, you will see something that will happen at the browser. Before then, let me fill it. Probably HTML HTML5 elaborate form. Let's take it that way. 1. I save. If you look at the browser, you can see something is coming up there. And to get it in the way it's supposed to be, here we have this form. We have action. We have method. Then let me take post. Like I said, I am not here to build a project on form. I'm here to tell you all the elements in form, all the attributes in form, what they do and their functions, the functionalities of these elements and attributes. That is what I'm here to do. After we're finished treating all these elements and attributes, then we can now spend our time to group them. That's a project. We can build a sign-up form, a sign-in form, build a billing form, any kind of form we can do, but that is after we have explained all the attributes and elements. I hope we get that. All right. So here now we have label. You know what label is. You normally use it to name a particular thing. Let's say I have to. This is for first name. First name. The label is for first name. I would like to show you two ways of using label. Here, let me expand this so you'll see. Inside this place, I have to put my input. You can see this label, then you can see this input. Input is an empty tag. Label is not an empty tag. And when you have a tag that is not empty, in between two of them, empty input there will come up. So that's why we'll have this first name. They will have this empty tag, which is input. It started here and ended there. I hope you can see it. Now, the type of input, we have different types of input. These are things we will see in this tutorial. The type of input I'm building here is text. We have different types. We have password, we have mail, we have image, and all the rest of them. But the one I'm building now is a text. Then, if I'm to remove this input, like I cut it out, I can also put it here. And it will work perfectly. If you come to the browser, whether this way or the other way, you will just get the same thing. But you need to be aware of this. Here in this label, I say label, it's asking me, the label is for what? It's for first name. And here we'll have this. Okay, let's fill up the text. Next one we can have is name. We'll have an attribute called name. Here, the property attribute here is type. And the value attribute is text. I hope you can see that. So now we'll have a property attribute called name. Then let's see what the name will be, the value attribute. I call it name. Then we also have a property attribute called ID. Give it a name. The value attribute is first name. We also have attributes we call placeholder. This placeholder holds something for us. If I save, you come here. Look at this form here. If I'm to expand the browser, if you look at the form, there's nothing here. Apart from this label is here, there's supposed to be something inside here holding something for you, which we call placeholder. Now, let me put something inside the placeholder. Since it's first name, say enter your first name here. It's an instruction. Say enter your first name here. You can see that at the browser. Then the moment you try to type anything, it will disappear. That's why it is called placeholder. If I put value there, let's assume that I put value there. Okay, let's leave it for now. So that's the work of placeholder, is holding something for us. Then another attribute we'll come across is what we call required. Required tells you that for you to submit this form, you must input something there. If you didn't put anything there and you're submitting it, the browser will tell you, say, look, you must fill something here. So we have required. It's an attribute. It's what we call Boolean attributes. Required is not like other attributes. You see, here we have 4 property attributes. They will have its value attribute. Text as a property attribute will have its value attribute. We'll have first name, all the rest of them. But required is a Boolean attribute. It has no value. It's just single, and that is how it is. I hope you get that. Then what I wanted to say about label. Look at this. I can copy this now and nest it inside this place to still give me the same thing. No error, no problem. But one thing is this. If you are keeping it outside, like I want to keep it outside now, if you are keeping it outside, these attributes and this attribute, the property attribute and the value attribute, you must identify them. Do you see here? You have the ID. What is inside the ID must be exactly the same thing, must be the same thing with what is inside the for. This for and the label must be the same if you are keeping it outside. So it depends on the way you want it and the way you like it. If you want to keep it inside, if you want to nest it, if you want to put it inside, no problem, you can do without for. You can even not fill the for. But if you are keeping it outside, ensure you label them the same. They must be the same, please. It's very, very important. So this test field now is for the first name. You can put a comment, first name test field. The first name test field. They will have an as and next one. That one is for the first name. We'll have our last name. Having taken the first name, let's have our last name. So we'll have our label for last name. Then here we'll have our input. It's a test. The name of it is last name. If I'm to explain these things and what their functionalities are, the type, which you're going to see various types. When we see various types, I don't think you need any explanation, but the first name we are to enter the browser is a test. It's not an email, it's not a phone number, it's not a number, it's just a test. So that's what determines what you're going to put. If you put an email here, the browser expects you to put email, but here we'll have a test. So at the browser will put test. This name, if I like, I can ignore it for now. But when we get to PHP, you cannot do that name. But I cannot ignore it based on the fact that I'm teaching. So in HTML, name is what the server understands. If you are sending anything to the server, name is very, very important. And even right here now, name is also very, very important. So that's what name does. It's very, very important. The ID, or this ID here, because we have another ID which is in form element. But for now, this ID is identify itself with this one. The this placeholder, you know what it is holding at the browser. You will see in whatever you put inside this property attribute. That's what you see at the browser. Then this required is mandating you. It's required. It's mandating you that whatever that is there, which is the first name, is required for you to fill that form and submit it. That if you didn't put it, that form is not going to be submitted. I hope you get that. All right. So we get this in this label is last name. We have last name. And after that, we have ID, last name. After that, we have a placeholder. Enter your last name. And true, required, it's required. Very important. So if you check this very thing, here I put this outside, then this one, the first one happened to be outside. I want this one to be inside to tell you that they will give us the same thing. All right, with our break tag. All right, I think we are building it small. The legend. So with the legend, I don't need to tell you again. It was able to give us the title for that form. It's a HTML5 library form. This form is not a project, please. We're not building a project with this. I am not building a project. I just have to tell you all these elements and attributes, what they do, their function. So all that are involved in form will be given to us right here. All right, next one is, if I've done first name, last name, let's consider middle name. We're not building a project, so we need to be elaborate. Middle name, input field, our test field, our label. The label is for middle name. Here we have our middle name. Remember what I did here. Remember what I did here. In the first one, I did not nest the inputs inside the label. The label happened to be on its own. Then here I nested the input inside the label. I hope you can see that. So in this one, I may decide to put it outside. Input is a test. Middle name is a test. Is it for what? The name is middle name, the ID is middle name. Then after ID, we have a placeholder, enter a middle name. After that, it's required. It's an attribute. We call it Boolean attribute. I've said that before, and you need to know it. It's just single. It's not double like others. And you can see the color. The moment you put it, it's closed. So that's our middle name. As we save, it's showing at the browser. Enter your middle name, enter your this, enter your first name, enter your middle name, enter your last name, middle name, enter your middle name, enter your last name, enter your first name. All right. Since we have a username, text field. We have a label. Label is for username. Then I have this outside. Username is still a text. I have the name of it is username. I think you have ID of username. Placeholder. Enter your username. Is it required? Yes, it's required. We have our BR tag. All right, the next we'll see will be password. We have our label. What is it for? It's for password. We have our password. Our column. Then we'll have our label. We'll have our input. But our input will have different types here. And if you remember what I told you, all we're doing is to make sure we use all these types, all these input types here. I have good number of them here. So our target is to ensure we cover them: button, checkbox, color, date, all the rest of them. But the one we're considering now is password. So the type is password. The name is password. The ID is password. After name, ID, next one should be placeholder. The other attributes, there are many attributes we can handle, but so far we are dealing with these ones, and let's continue with them until we keep increasing them gradually. So placeholder is enter your password here. Enter your password here. Is it required? Of course it is required. So if you save, we can see our password and the browser. The password field, if you have this is the username. If it's a password, I enter, you will not see anything. You only do that if you click on this eye and release the mouse or whatever, depending on what the browser is saying. You can see whatever I type in there as a password. All right. Having seen the password, since it's a sign-up form, we need to reconfirm it. Always true. So as to check if there's an error in the password you entered. Confirm password. Confirm underscore password. So here is confirm password. Confirm password. Here we'll copy this and we drop them. Type is still password. Password. Confirm password. Here it should be confirm your password. Confirm your password. That's what we'll have there. Required, it is required. You save, it's at the browser. You can drop our break tag here. You can lightly drop our break tag here. Here you have your test. Here is a password. You can't see it unless you want to see it. If you don't want, you're not going to see it. You yourself cannot see it. And just one thing about this confirm password of a thing. Here now you can copy this. Let's say I copy that password I typed there, I drop it here. You can see that. But come here. Since it's still here, it's still in this password form. You copy it and you drop it here. Did you see what happened? It could not be copied. Now, let me remove one text there. Then copy this here. Come here and drop it. It is still holding that first one. You cannot copy anything in this password form. You have to make it to be seen before you can copy it. That's one thing I've discovered from the browser. Let's just say a browser that can do that, but most of the browsers are fried. You cannot copy something in this password form. It will not allow you to copy it. So you have to transfer it to text before it can be seen and copied. All right. So that's it. So let's see the next one. So this will have a break tag. We'll go to the next, and the next should be email field. We still have our label email for email. Like I said, you can nest it inside or you put it outside, but for here or now I prefer to keep it outside. So the input type is email, not text, not password. We have seen text and password. It's my plan in this tutorial so I can see all this. Look at this is button, checkbox, color, date, datetime-local, email, file, hidden, image, month, number, password, radio, range, reset, search, submit, tell, test, time, the URL, and week. So it is my plan to ensure that I cover all of them. These are the types of input that could be seen. Right from above, we have seen text, and we've also seen password. So right now we're going to email. So the type now we're considering is an email, and tapping to the name has to be email and ID email. After that ID, the next we have in series in line is placeholder. So we say enter your email. Is it required? We assume it is required. Remember I told you that we're not building a project, a form project. We're showing you all that is involved in building form. All the major elements and attributes that are involved. That's what we're doing. So what we're seeing now is email. If we save, it will show at the browser. Enter your email. Then we'll see have a break tag. We'll have a comment. Go to gender. In gender, we have label. I would like to nest this, whichever way label is for gender. And here we'll have our male. We'll have our input. At the input, we have radio. We'll call radio button. The input is going to be radio. We have seen text. We saw password. The next was email. And right now, the next we're seeing is radio. We'll call radio button. The name will be gender. The ID for male, for the label. Then if this is for male, the ID will be for male. Let me expand this so easy so we'll not get confused. We'll have label, we'll have male, radio. Also have the name is gender. Then the ID has to be the same thing with 4 that's inside the label. The value is male. Then we want it to be checked. Radio buttons are being checked. I'll tell you what radio buttons are. So checked, let it be checked. I would like to save this and go to the browser and show you something. Here, because of this check we put here, let me remove it and save. I want to look at this very dotted, this checked button here. As I save, you see what will happen. It will disappear because it was not checked. So the work of the check is to ensure that one is checked. So that is for male. Then I can decide to copy this since we'll have other two. Here is female. Here we have others. Let's carefully for female, the ID for female, others, radio, gender, the male values, others. That should be female. I think that's okay for now. Then we reduce this. Then there's something here, you see that all of them we are checked. So we have to remove them and put in any one we want to be checked. As we save, it gets back to the male. That is where it is checked. So if you check what is happening, let me go to a browser, look at it. As I click, they are moving. There are 3. There's no way 2 of them can be checked at the same time. It is what we call check button, that we have 2 or 3 items that could be selected at the same time. But here is one that will be selected. Hope we get that. So that's what we see in radio button. There's no way 2 or 3 will be selected. It's only one that will be selected. But let me do something here. This is name 1, so gender 1, gender 2, gender 3, and I save. Do you see what is happening? Because they don't have the same name, they are not being grouped. The browser is not grouping them. They have different name now. That is why 3 of them are checked. The browser is seeing them as 3 different things. But when you give them the same name, they are seen as the same. So I'm going to remove those rubbish, and we're back. It's only one that will be saved, that will be checked. What caused it is whatever that is put inside the property attribute of name. The name property attribute has a value attribute, which is gender. So even if I have 10 radio buttons here, in as much as they have the same name, gender, all of them will be working together. And the way radio buttons are is that you select one, and that is what is happening at the browser here. Hope you can see that. So that is all I can give to you on radio button. We'll still come across it because we are building to be sure that we get every element attribute, all the elements attributes, and property attributes and value attributes that can be seen in a form. And that is what we are doing. So it's going to take us time. We don't want to dodge some of them. I will make sure I put on even the ones that you may not use today. But let it be that you have a place you can get it when you come to YouTube, that this video will provide everything that you need. So with that out of the way, let's go to the next thing, which is called reset button. Reset button. You know, I've not tried to fill these forms we have here, and they're increasing gradually. So in this reset button, these are buttons. We have input. This input, what type of input? Look here, remember what we have been doing here. We want to ensure that we cover all. The VS Code was able to provide, to bring solution for us, to help us. So reset, where are you? Okay. What value do you want inside? What value do you want it to carry? I want it to carry clear. The name is reset. If I should have ID, always try to fill these things. They're very important. It's reset. How many do I have there? I have like 4 attributes. Okay. What if I save it? Okay, let me put my break tag here and save again. You can see it. Okay, let's see what this clear does and see if actually we got it. This is mascot media video, mascot video. That's the username. Enter the password. That's my password. Confirm the password. They are not the same. My email is mascot@gmail.com. That's my email. Mail. I didn't like what I feel here. I can clear it. That's what clear button does. I hope you got that. So I want you to look at what happened here. I use an element called input. And if you watch here, inside if you check here, what happened, I used Fieldset. Fieldset was exactly what gave us that frame. Then legend is there. We have form. Since then, I'm using label and input. Label and input. If you want, that's the element I'm using, regardless of the elements inside. Here, I've used input, and I say the type is reset, or called reset button. So let me use button. Button here will have different things. Is it disable button, reset button? Hope you can see it. So we need the reset button. You click here. Look at where my cursor is. I hope you can see it. What does it want? Here, I call it clear, the value. Here, what name can I give it? Okay, let me give it clear button. So we know that this one is from button. Clear button. If I save and check the browser, I hope you can see the difference now. Okay, but let me fill some other things like value and all the rest of them. In button, I wanted to see the difference between button and the input. The input is an empty tag. You can see at the end here, it has no other one. But button has a opening, button has an opening tag and closing tag. So in between this opening and closing tag, that's where you put whatever you want to appear in the browser. I want to show you something here now. Here, whatever that came out of our browser here is clear. This clear as a word is based on what we put in this property attribute, which is the clear as a value attribute. Now, whatever that is here is what came here at the browser here. Here, they will not give anything like value. I've not given both the property attribute and the value attribute. If I'm to copy this and paste here and save it, if I save it, I have not changed anything on the browser. Then if I remove this clear button text and save, look at our button have been diminished. It's now nothing because it says the button, the browser is expecting you to put something in between the opening tag and the closing tag. You do not put anything. Instead, you put something in the value. It's not going to respect that because this is not an empty tag. If it's an empty tag that the browser knew, look, this guy has no legs and arms. This guy can do nothing. You have to put everything inside. But for button in between the open and the closing tag, I'm expecting you to put something and you didn't put anything. That is why nothing was seen at the browser. So whatever you put at the value here will not be respected or accepted by the browser. The browser only accepts whatever I put in between the opening tag and closing tag. So we'll go back and we save. I just told you that what you put in button as a result of the value will not be seen. And reason why it cannot be seen because button as an element is not an empty element. It's not an empty tag. Input did that because it was what? An empty tag. But button cannot do that. So button, you expect to put something in between. I hope we get that. Thank you. So we can also put the ID and I can copy this here. Since I'm too lazy to type here. The ID and there. Then we'll just fill it and go. So two of them, let it be there since we're not building any project. But you have seen the difference between input as an element and button as an element, or the difference between an empty tag and the one that is not an empty tag, what they can do. The next one, sign in button. And the same thing, we do it. The type we want is button. You can see. I hope you are getting all the things we are doing. We are having different types. We started with text. We use text for the first name, last name, middle name with the username. After that, we went to another type which is called password with the password and a confirmed password. After that, we went to another type called email. Then we went to another one called radio, which is called radio button. Then we went to reset. Reset both the input as element and button as an element. We use the type we call reset, and we got the reset button. Anywhere you click, we clear everything you fill in the form, everything that the user fills in the form. Now, here we'll go to the next one, which is sign in button or button. We'll go to the next one, another type called button. So we have seen types, we have seen value. Sign in is what is in the value. If I'm to save, though I've not finished, you will have something there. I still put on my break tag so this thing will be clear. Right here you can see it's saying sign in. They will have our name, sign in. We'll have our ID, sign in. The next is button. What type of button? Disable reset. It should be a submit button because we use it to submit. Button, what are we using it to? We're using it to what? To submit. It's not resetting, we're using it to submit. Button, we say sign in. That's what will show at the browser. So we have type. We also have type to be button. We have our name and ID. I hope you can get it clear. We have the type, we have the name, we have ID, the value. We may not put the value, but if you want us to do that, we can do that. But it's not, I may not put it, but it's there. But I want to tell you that what comes at the browser is what is in between the opening and closing tab. All right, let's see this alert button. We saw this in button, one of the topics we had there. So in this sign in button, you can be sign up or sign in, whatever you put. Anything you put here will show there. So it does not really matter. The essence of what you see at the browser to tell the user what you are doing. But I think the code here will be the same. The action will be the same. What matters is the name. It's just to submit it. It submits anything you have there. So button. You have a click me. Then here, inside here, we have a type. Is button. On click. Alert. Inside you have a welcome to Mascot Media Video. From button, we have a break tag here. We save. You click, you can see it. Welcome to Mascot Media. And allow button. Okay, if we check the form we have, I think we have done something serious here. Normal things we know in form. This is the first name, last name, middle name, the username. Put your username, password. You confirm password. You put your email. You collect your sex, your gender. Then you clear. You submit, and other things. Okay, like I said, we're not here to build any single project. You have seen this. From here, we have this also we saw at the browser. That's how we came with it. The first one we had was Fieldset, then followed by legend. Was the legend that gave us this title we have here. So, but what if I comment this legend? We'll look at the browser and see what we have. We have this frame. I hope you can see it now. We have this frame, just frame and nothing. So that's to say that the Fieldset gave us that frame. I hope you can see it. Then the legend gave us that title. It's not just giving us that title. The Fieldset opened up a space for the title to get in. They will have a form. This form started here, and down here we stopped it. We are still going to another section. Then here we use our comment. I hope you can see these attributes and value. I ignored them. They are there looking at us. No problem. It is not yet time for me to explain what they do and what their functions are. It is action and its method. The next section will be handling. There are some 4 or 5 or 6 attributes in Form Element which we'll handle. So it's a section. When I get there, I will explain all of them and what they do. I just started with the ones you are familiar with if you've ever been in Form. Other ones which I think should come later. But at least let it be that when you started a form, you saw username or you saw type which is test, you saw another type which is password. After that we went to another type called email. After that we have to go to another one we call radio, which you saw as radio button. From there we went to reset button. Then there are buttons, submit, and all the rest of them. So that is all we have at this section. This legend, this Fieldset can also be disabled. This Fieldset could be disabled. Let's see what happens to our work. If you look at what happened to the work we did, it's all gone. They are there, but you cannot do anything. What happened? Because we put this Boolean attribute. We call it Boolean attribute. Don't forget. We call it Boolean attribute. I comment it, please, because it's not part of what I'm doing. Boolean attribute. So that is what it was able to do. It disabled everything we did. Everything. Go back to the browser. You see that form is live, and you can fill it and submit it to Google or submit it to YouTube. Thank you. So that's all I can give you on this section. There are other elaborate sections which you will see. I would like to take it this way. So I will take the time to explain all the types and attributes and what they do. In the timestamp, if you check it, you see how I'll structure them very, very well in the timestamp. So at anyone you're looking for, move around in the timestamp, you can locate it. If you want password, if you want this, anyone you want, email, reset, everything, check it there. You can easily grab what you want. There's another section I want to handle here. I'll still use my Fieldset. This section, this section will be, I'll still call it the same title I gave here, Elaborate 2. So the Fieldset, inside the Fieldset we'll have a legend. I'll call this 2. We'll have our form. It has an action, unexplained yet. Post. And this is where inside this form element we'll do everything we intend to do. So I'll still go back to a radio button. Radio button for title. Label. In the label we have this is for title. They'll have inside here we'll have title. Then if I to show you what I have in the browser, to be good to see what we'll have there. We have entered into another form. Let me put space here so that they'll give us break. There'll be space. Let them be on their own. And I put another break so that they'll give us breakdown. So the form will come up a little. Alright. And that's good now. So we'll have this title here, then we'll have another label. The label is for Mr. Then here we have input. What type of input? That should be a radio. That input will be a radio. All right. Name is Mr. The ID Mr. Okay. Value. The name here is designation. Then we'll have a value. It's Mr. We save. I hope you can see that. Then we have to do some copy and pasting. This is Miss. There's something we'll not touch here. I hope you are aware. The name will has the names, all of them, they must be the same. All of them. So this is Miss. This is Miss. Miss. The name must be the same. Our different titles. So after Miss, we can have other titles, which you know. Not a problem. You can put other titles you like, but with what we have on the browser, which one is your title? Is it this, Mr., Miss, anyone you want to choose? They are since they have the same name in this radio button, they have destination, they have the same. They will be the same. We have seen this before. We add the gender here. So that's how we can put title. You can see that all these things will be gathered by our PHP code when we get there. Okay, I'm through with this. For title, in case you want to arrange the title, you can go on with that one. We move to another section. None is check here. If you want, you can put check if you want. It will be defined the way you want it to be. So this, let me call this personal details with restrictions. Personal details with restrictions. Fieldset. Put this in the legend. And the another legend is our form. But you can still start these things without legends or Fieldset. Let me comment this. I take this form out, then comment this, guys. Let me start it. You can start your form this way. That's the normal way to start form. The Fieldset legends are just the way to beautify it. That's it, or not much. Then our method is post. I have not explained action and method, being sections that will come ahead. So here, let's see, we say personal details with restrictions. You definitely understand what I mean by restrictions here. You don't just fill, you have to consider meet some conditions before you fill and submit your form. So these are the restrictions we have there. There's something I omitted. It's not that I personally omitted it, but I forgot it. I forgot to put it there. And let me go back there and insert it for you. After required, or anywhere you can put autofocus. And what's the function? I want to look at the browser. You see here, if you want to fill form, you need to go straight to the place. But in a page where you have something to fill, it's always good when you open the page, the cursor is somewhere showing you start here to fill a form. When I save this, you see what will happen. I will refresh this page now. When I refresh this browser, see what will happen, and it should happen at the first one, which is the first name. Look at what will happen. Did you see what happened? This place got highlighted and the cursor start blinking here, telling you start filling a form. So I omitted it, I forgot it, it's autofocus. That's what it does. But I don't want it to be there. If it's there, you see what we'll do. Okay, let's leave it there and continue what we are. You see what will happen to our form as we continue. If it happens, then we'll come back and remove it. If it did not happen, that's good for us. But I know it's going to happen. You'll see what will happen. Now we have this here. We have our label. What do we want to put here? It's username. Are we doing username again? Yeah, because we're not yet through with something. Username. Username. We save. This is what happened. I was right down here, but when I saved, the thing took me up. So that place we'll put that autofocus. It's telling me to come here. That's where I'm supposed to start. That's a problem, and I don't like it. Let me do it again so you see. See where we are here now. We're right here now. Well, you see what will happen when I save. So here, input. What type of input is username? Username has always been a test. So let's take it up as a test. Name, username. ID, username. Must have a placeholder. Enter username. Then we have not finished. Let me save. You see what happened to our form. You see what happened. It's moved again to that place. So please, that's why I don't normally put autofocus when I'm teaching like this. So we'll remove it. But I've shown you what autofocus is all about and what it can do. I'll still put it here. I can put it here, autofocus. Since we are here, let it be autofocusing for us here. If I save now, do you see what happened? It brought me here. It will always focus on the time I click on the browser. It told me to start doing something here. No problem. I've not finished. So I want the autofocus to always be there. We have seen type is a text. We have seen name. We have seen ID. As attributes, we have seen placeholder. We have seen autofocus. Remember, we're also supposed to see required. It's required. They're all there. No problem. Now, remember the autofocus and the required, they are all attributes. But we'll call them Boolean attributes because they are single. Don't think that they are different from this type, name, ID, placeholder. They are the same, but they are called Boolean attributes. That's why they are single. There are other ones too. So after placeholder, let's see another attribute we call pattern. This pattern is a username. So the pattern I want is, use this for me. I want you to do A, uppercase to Z, then lowercase to Z. What I want the user to put. I also want 0 to 9. Uppercase, your username will be uppercase. Look at it here. Your username will be uppercase A to Z, or lowercase A to Z, or numbers, if you want to use numbers 0 to 9. Apart from this, I don't want it. I don't want any other thing. And your username should not be less than 3. It should be something above 3 letters. It's a pattern I want it to be. The username must be the alphabet. Letters must be letters of the alphabet or numbers from 0 to 9. I don't want any special key. Don't bring it in the username. That's all I want. Then after pattern, that's for now in pattern, in username. When we go to email and other things, we still see what will happen there. So that's it. But I want a situation when the user comes, say here, you can see fill out this. You can see what we'll have at the browser. Please fill out this field. That is for this browser. Another browser may write another thing or another browser may ignore it. So I want to put a title so that even if a browser ignores it, but when I put a title, you see it may override this one. This one says, please fill out this field. Let me put my own title. So I want to make it different from what they have, what the browser told us. So I can say, please enter more than 3 letters. Please enter more than 3 letters. I save. Let's go back there. Can you see what happened? Please enter more than 3 letters. Whatever I put in the title has overridden the title that the browser gave to the Microsoft Edge, the browser gave to us. So I've removed that one and put my own. So I put this so that there's a browser you get to. It's not even interested in what you are doing. You cannot tell the user, see what is going on here. So if I expand this, hope you can see this. The label is there. The label is there and it's different. You can see the input we have here. We have a lot of attributes here now. We have type, we have name, we have ID, we have placeholder, we have pattern. Pattern is the pattern I want you to put that text. They will have title. If you don't put it in that way, it's not going to submit. That form will not submit. There are some browsers after filling, they will call you back, say come back here. So this means that whatever is in this username is required. That's what required does. You must fill it. You don't just leave it empty. You must fill it. That's what required does. Then you have autofocus, means when I get there, when I open the page, it should focus on that very username. So that's username. Mascot 45. If you put any other special key, it will not enter. If you put the hashtag, by the time you go to other things, it will tell you, look, please enter more than 3 letters. And that is for the title. But if I'm to submit this form, you will see what will tell me because of this character I put here. That's username. Let's see a pattern. Let's see a restriction that can be given in email. A label, email, for email. It's an input. What type of input? It's an email, which you know. Name is email. The ID is email. It's required. Autofocus, no. We only put one in a form. And it has gone to the first one. It's always on the first one. On the one you want them to start filling first. It has gone to that. Placeholder. Enter your email. What do we use in the one? Enter your username. Enter your email. After the placeholder, let's have a pattern. Let me expand the browser. In the pattern of email, let's say I have this email in this form, mascot@gmail.com. All right, while we look at that, let me see. So the usual pattern is this. I want it to be A to Z, capital letter, or the browser can remember what we did before. So this side of email can be capital letter, uppercase, lowercase, and numbers. That's what it's saying. And let it be something above 3. Sorry. I want it to be above 3 letters. When we start building projects, there are other patterns I will bring in. But for now, at the beginner's tutorial, I want you to take this pattern and at least start with it. It will help. Then after that, there should be after this A to Z 0 to 9 of whatever. Then the next thing should be the @ After the @ again, we still have this same thing, A to Z. Okay, was able to get that. This, A to Z. That A to Z, I remove the number because here you have this name, no letter, Gmail, Yahoo, whatever you call them. So, and for all we know, let it not be less than 3. The next one should be a dot. That is this dot. And after this, check in here. After the @ then you have the name Gmail or Yahoo Mail. After that should be a dot. It's trying to check you. And that dot should be 1. Then you have the A to Z or Z. You can have this way. That will be more than 2. .com and then whatever. Okay. That pattern is there to check whatever you're going to put there. Should I have a title? Please enter a valid email address. Please enter a valid email address. That's for test. This one for email. Do you have any other one? Phone. I've not seen this before. So I'll get rid of this. Label. Phone. See, we see in our browser. We save. Okay. We have our break tag. Break tag here too. Input. What type of input do you want? We want a tail. Input, if you have your this, you don't want to scroll, you can go with your tail. Write it gives you. What's the name? Phone. ID. Phone. We have the type is a tail. Name, phone, ID, placeholder. Enter a phone number. Do you have a pattern here? Let's see if you have a pattern. The pattern should be, I want it to be 0 to 9, depending on the country, the numbers they're using. So 4. Another one 0 to 9. 3. 0 to 9. 3. I think these things I'm doing here, especially this number now, they are self-explanatory. If you have been following me, you know that this very one is self-explanatory. It's a phone number 0 to 9 and nothing else. The first one should be 4, 0 to 9, 3, and this. They will have a title. Let me explain it. Title will help the user understand what the browser wants. That's what title does. That's exactly what title. If you mouse over it, it's telling you please enter more than 3 letters as username. Here, please enter a valid email address. That's what it's doing. If we are to save this one here now, if we come here, we don't have a title yet. See, the browser will help us. The browser is not helping us for now. Probably it's gone for lunch. Probably the browser have gone for lunch. So let's put a title so that anytime you come there, the browser won't go on lunch. The title will be there. The title will not travel. The title will be there to give you everything that you want. So please enter a valid phone number. That is to say, if the people that are supposed to fill this form have in their country, they have a number like this. They have a particular pattern of codes. The one I put there is this. And we save. We'll go to the browser. Remember, remove the autofocus. I put it here. So that is why everything we do is bringing the form here for us. So we'll have it there. If we rephrase this, is autofocusing here. Let's match or valid. Look, I say, please enter a valid phone number like this. And you can see what happened here now. Please enter a valid phone number like this. It's already showing to the user. This is the kind of number. Probably in that country, that's what the pattern, the code they use in their phone number. All right. We see the next one. I hope you got this. The first one should be 4, the next one should be 3, and the other one should be 3. That is what we'll have there. All right, we go on to the label. The label will be for country. How about select? Select an element. This is the first time I'm using it. Is it disabled? No, I just want normal select. Country, and this should be for country too. Inside this select, we have option. Option is an element. The value for here says select your country. Option US, USA. Option UK, option Australia, all right, we'll have this. Now if you look at the browser, you see that these 4 things are there. Username, you have your username. Email, you put your phone number in that pattern. If you didn't put it, you're not going to submit it. If you didn't put it, it's not going to submit. Remember here, if you check in the first one we did, there was no submit button. We did not put submit button because we're not building a project. So I intentionally decided not to put it. We've not put the submit button here too. It said country, but there is something here that says select your country. You select the country you want, probably USA. Now, so that is, if you look at just 4 things we have at the browser, but because of the things we loaded inside it, like pattern, we put pattern, we introduced this pattern attribute, we also introduced the title attribute. We know what is autofocus. Anywhere you put it, as soon as the page loads, it will focus at that point. Here we have the email. We have seen email before, but we modified it by putting the pattern and the title. Like what we have at the pattern, it helps. It helps a lot. And by the time we go into real project or forms, you will see that when you do it without putting that, if you didn't obey what is in the pattern and whatever in the pattern and title, the form will not submit. It will call you back. It's very simple. Country. For the country, I'll have our label for country. We use a select an element. What's the name? Public country. The ID should be country equally. And here we put our options. Option is an element which you can see. And right here we say select your country. Select your country. Select your country. That one is gone. We pick up another option. I have 3 countries in mind. So we'll pick them up. We'll have US, UK, then Australia. Right inside the value here, we can put USA. Let me use a capital. Yes, UK. I don't want nothing to block me there. And UK. Okay, that is what we'll have here. Now we are to select. If you look at the form, say select your country. You pick up any country of your choice. That's what we see there. Here you put the username, put your email, put your phone number in that pattern, then select your country. Now, I think that's where I can end that one in that section of that form. If you check very well, we have gone and read you. We've gone found this on the first elaborate. You can see the forms here. Whatever you see at the browser is what we'll have here. Then the second elaborate, we're able to pick the titles. I think that can help you if you need a title. With a radio button and every other thing, you will grab something that then will get over to the personal details with restrictions. And in that restrictions, we're able to put for, I think, put username, email, phone, then the country. You can put other things. It can be select the language, or select your language, English, Spanish, French, German, Dutch, whatever. It could be the subject in school. Could be the kind of payment you want to make, which credit card company do you want to use, and so on and so forth. So it depends on the one you want. You can even use this for gender. Yes, you can use the select for gender. It's just choice. And what the user knows is, look, anything I see on that browser, I start filling it. It doesn't have to be input or option or whatever before they start doing it. They just select, and that's it all. Hope you get that. So in that section, I think we're through with that section. Then let me see another thing to do. All right, I have a section here that looks more like a form. So I would like us to handle it. I'm through with that section. I didn't put Fieldset Legend. This one I would like to maybe let me put it a little, since we didn't put it in that last one. Let me put it. But like I said, it's just choice, you know. Normally forms don't carry them. Just choice, but so since it's choice, let it be my choice. Let me take it. Usually I don't like it, but since I'm teaching, let me keep reminding you that this thing is possible in case you need something like this. It's all about titling your form, your sections. It could be like 3, 4, 5 forms. You put them in sections, you know. This section is different from this, telling that this one is this and this one is that. So that's the example. So let's go on with it. Our Fieldset Legend is there. I can call it booking details, booking detail form. Just a form. Then we'll go to our form. I hope you are not discouraged so far. I've not explained these things that are here inside the form to some teachers. That will definitely be the first thing they will explain when they come to form. But I decided not to take it. Reason being that there are other attributes here. And if I started at the beginning of the tutorial, some of the viewers may be discouraged or whatever. So I decided to, in one way or the other, to handle other things that I can easily be seen. Since these things are not being seen in the form, they cannot be seen on the browser. You can't see them on the browser. They are attribute inside form. There are like 4 or 5 of them. I don't know how many. So I decided to handle them much later in their proper section. At that time, I will handle other attributes that are in the same way or in the form with the same form with them. So I hope you won't be discouraged. If you're using timestamp to watch it on YouTube, you can easily locate them where they are, and that won't be a problem. So these action methods, whatever they are, I don't want to explain them now. when the time you are tired or you are through with these things that the browser can see is there, and then we can start getting into it. So with that out of the way, let's see what we can get under this booking details form. We get in with our label as usual. This label will be for date, booking date. You want to book for something, for flights or for rooms, the motel or hotel or accommodation or school or whatever. So let's see if this is for date. Then we'll have our input. This input now will be for dates. Remember what we are doing, what is leading us into all these things. We just want to ensure that the type of input will address almost all of them, if not all. So we've been dealing with text, password. We'll be dealing with a lot of them, like text, password. You can remember all the types we have come across from me. I've come across tel. You can see them. I can remember you have seen email. Good number of them, you know them. So we want to ensure that we cover a lot of them in this our tutorial core form. So by the time you come on YouTube and get this material, this form, it will teach you, to help you to grab every single thing that is, whether element, attribute, property attribute, value attribute that can be seen inside form. So that's exactly what we're doing. So it will be like a place when you come, you get it all. So here we have the name, let it be date, and ID. We'll give you date too. We'll have a type, name, date. Since it's date, we'll have a minimum. Since you are booking, there is a minimum date. Anybody that is not inside that is not allowed to be in this place. So that is exactly what we mean by that minimum. If you are not inside this frame, you won't be allowed to stay in that hotel. In the school, that means you are supposed to be in another school, not here. So this very date now specifies the least date you have to fill in the browser. This is 20. What if we use okay? It depends on the booking, or it depends on the booking. We use a date like November 4th. 2022, November 4th, 2022. That's the date. If you look at the browser, you can see the date picker is there for you. And because of the date we put, we said 4th of November 2022. Look at it here. That means 3rd is not available. You are booking this thing. Let's say you are booking today. You cannot book yesterday. You cannot book Wednesday. You can't book. You just book today. You can book tomorrow. Since we have minimum here, you can book tomorrow, any date in front, including today. But you cannot book that of yesterday. You can book on Wednesday, Tuesday, any day back. Forget about it. There's no provision for it. Hope you get that. So we see the next one. The next one should be number of guests. Number of guests. You get that? Number of guests. That's what you see at the browser. Input. This since it's number, so the input type should be number. I don't know if I've come across number in this tutorial. I don't know. Okay. So guest number. Guest number. Guest number. There's the ID. They will have the minimum of people allowed should be 1, of course. Then the maximum allowed, let's say 5. If it's more than 5, there'll be a problem. The management won't accept it. You can see that at the browser. I think you have autofocus here. Let me look for spot it and remove it. I don't like being directed on where to go. You know what autofocus is doing. Probably let me keep it here in case if I'm to give you the source code or whatever, if you demand it, then you can easily see it there and add it. And that one being directed where I've gone out from. So very cool. So that's having seen the number. Let's say there's another one there. We can put our history. We say, do you need a drink? Let the title there. Doing the drink. Don't see label. Drink, yes. It's like we're getting into another radio button. I have not seen check button. There are programs that will lead us to check button. Don't be in a hurry, we'll get that. Drinks. Drinks, yes. Yes. Then we have input. That is a radio. If you don't want to screw all this, you can finish the put. Then put the column and put the R. Everything about range, reset, everything about these things will just fall in and there. So drinks. The ID will be what we'll have in the label, which is drink, yes. After the ID we'll have value will be drink, yes. Because it's the first there we say checked. That's a Boolean attribute. Don't forget that. Don't ask why. It's called Boolean attribute. Then after that we'll have label for no. Let me see if I can copy that. Save our time. That should be no. Or no. Oh yes, will become no. I think so. Drinks, no. So if you are selecting this, you are doing no to all of them. Okay, we'll see our browser to see what we'll get. Yes, you know why that no is checked. There's a lag check there. They are working. The radio button is working. Why is it working? Because we use drinks for the name. What's about the name? And that's why the names are the same. My dear, you are there. Okay, that is for that one, for the drinks and no drinks and whatever. Next one is food. If you need food because you are booking, maybe you are fasting or something like that. Label, food. That's food. Food is a heading. There's some rice. Input. Input. We have different types of input. Let's take a checkbox because you don't eat all. You can take 2 or 3 out of the items or whatever they have in the menu. All right. So the foods. In the ID, is it going to be food? The ID, what we have in the for food, rice. Let's take it to be rice. Name. Okay, name will be the same. Rice. Okay, this will be rice. For the general name, rice is not general, so we copy again. We'll pick up some yam. That's for rice. This is for yam. Rice, food is the same, so yam. Hope you get it. Beans, some beans. Bean. One thing about this copy and pasting is you might. The name is still the same. Don't forget, please. Bean, Mr. Bean, and this. Okay, so we'll have 3. I think that should be okay. What if he wants tea? Want to drink some tea? Tea. Okay. Food is still there. Food will be the same. If you touch that food, it's obvious you're not going to get it. It's improper. So they have the same name, though this is checkbox. And since it is checkbox, I hope you can see that at the browser. That's why I like this live server. You want to eat all, you are free. You can pick all, eat them. I've checked all of them. When you're fresh, all of them will go out because none was checked. What if I decide to put none? Do you want foods? None. For none. Lowercase. None. Don't want anything. Yes, let it not be that the person didn't see all this. So, none. Okay. I'm set to this checked. None is checked. If you want, you uncheck it. Okay, there's another thing I would like to show you. I'm not building a project, so I'm just gathering things that can bring across all those types, because that's the major thing here. Is the major drive, the major thing we're looking for. This type, form has input has different types, and we are gradually systematically trying to handle all those types. So anything that will bring us, as if we're building a project, bring us together so we can bring that on roll, or so we can bring out all those types. That is exactly what we're doing here, please. We decided to ask the person probably for language. Okay, since we are doing computer, let's have a programming language, a kind of input. Input there is test. We have name, language, ID. Is still lang. List. We are into another thing, which is program. Placeholder programming language. Programming language. Let's have this. Whether I should remove this, but look at this. They want to help me. Datalist. Inside Datalist, we'll have ID. ID to be program. Do you have any prog? Okay, list. Data list. Here we'll have list, and the value there is prog language. They will have data list. ID there is prog language. Both of them are the same. We are linking them. That's why this thing is called data list. It's working with a list in an input. Well, okay, let's continue with this option. I've introduced you to data list, an element. I will explain this when I look at this. This is select. It works in line with, it has a pattern of data list, but they're not the same. Sometimes I used to call it an updated version of data list, an updated version of select. The data list is an updated version of select. I will show you why I call it an updated. Look at this select. Where do we number of guests? Why do we use this country here? You select your country. What if your country is not here? What do? You can't put it. There's no way you put it. You are left out and you're out. Probably in the World Cup, and you say you should enter your name, so your club. You try to fill a form. The name of your club isn't there, or your name is not there. You can't put it. What do? So that's why I call this data list as an updated version of the element called select. In data list, you see what will happen. Okay, let's go on. In the first one, we'll have let's say we'll have languages. The languages will have PHP, JavaScript, Java, C. In one of my programs, one of my tutorials and videos, I saw JV. So when I was playing, I saw JV. All right, Swift. Sorry for that. It's just speed and other things. Then we have Androids, Python, my mom. Then C++. So these are where did I put that? C++, just on the floor. That's good. Okay, whatever I did here, I hope you see what happened. Nothing came up. Not sure. Did not show. All the things I've been doing here, you save and it's on the browser, but did not show. Okay, but look at when you mouse over the browser. I hope you can see here when you mouse over the browser. All these languages are coming. They are showing. You can select any one you want. All right. So what if you come here and your language is not show? your own language did not show. What do? That's why I say that Datalist is an outdated version of select. If it did not show, no problem. And what is that your language? Maybe CSS. You put it there and submit. It will go. So that's the difference between Datalist. Remember, the element inside them, both of them happen to be option. But that of Datalist now are giving us an option that we can write whatever we want. It's not like select. Select will not even listen to you. You only select and get out of that place. But here, if what you're looking for happen not to be there, no problem. If you didn't see it, you didn't see it. Instead of shouting and complaining, just write it there. It's accepted. And you're good to go. Okay, there is that. I'll put some break tag here so let it be that. Yeah, that's okay now. So select your language. I can equally put label. Label and select your language. Select your language. I think that's okay. If it is too close, you know what to do. You put some break. If you didn't separate, no problem. The break is free. You can put more breaks. If you want it to be by the side, you can equally keep it there, like this. You want it to be in this form, so let it be there. No break. Let them be brothers and neighbors. Okay, more. There are more. We are through that data list, but stay in the form. You can say, I want you to rate us. Rate what we are doing. We are doing this thing. I want to use a slide. Rate us 2%, 3%, or whatever you want. Or rate us out of 10, 2 out of 10. Input type. Input. I want to use range. Well, I've used reset radius, so let's try range. The name should be level. That will be slide. That's what it is, and that's what I call it. It starts from 0 and maximum. You know it now. Rate us out of 10. Steps. Step is an attribute. See what the text editor is doing. It's helping me to finish the writing. Value, showing that the text editor knows what I have in mind. So if you write something that is not it, it will not. Oh, sorry for that. You can use span to do that. Where did that thing start? Okay. If you get a point. Rate us from 1 to 10. Got it. There's a slide. Boom, 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 boom. You drag it, it's going. The step at which it's going is 2, 2, 2. Means it has 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 divided 10 will give you 5. So it takes 5 steps here till the end. It's 10. If I pull this to be 1 and save it, but I said the value is 2. It should be at 2. It should just be moving boom, 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 boom to 10. The step at which it is moving is 2, 2, 2. The maximum is 10. The minimum is 2. Is 1. But it will be at 2. What if I put it at 8? As it loads, you can see it is at 8. If I take 4, you just be watching what happens. It's 4. If I save, it will be at the 4th position. To be at the 4th position. So that is exactly what we see there. The next one, you don't need to be tired of this, is there's no way in a single form you use everything. But these are things, elements, attributes. At least over 90% of them you're supposed to see at this beginner's level. So we want to bring all of them. So that when you want to do, you can now select. I think that is okay. Okay, so we label for subscribe. That's the label. Inputs now, we take up a checkbox. Name is subscribe. ID subscribe. So pick it up here. Then put up a break tag. Then label for another one. Upload file. It's like we're trying to upload your ID. Upload a file. Upload a file. A. That's label. Input. This input, since it's a file, we look for file here. We'll have image, many things to upload. Upload file, we'll have here. We'll put in the ID, we'll put in the name. So here we'll have, there's an attribute that is called accept, TST. Accept TST. Let it be a TST.txt file. It is an image, it will go. So we'll pick up image, but now we are doing with the file. Our form is building up, upload the file is there, choose, you can see it, choose the file. I don't want to unleash everything now. There's an attribute that is called multiple. Multiple, let me see if I can, but I'm supposed to treat it as a single. I'm supposed to handle it somewhere in front, but let me chip it in, multiple. I want you to look at this thing at the browser, you see what will happen. This whole thing here is trying to do something already. I want you to look at this thing, this choose file. I hope you know I'm not the one that wrote this choose file. No file choosing, wasn't the one. I only wrote upload a file. Then browser was able to gather everything from the HTML codes. I was able to give already something like this. But let me save now with this multiple here. Let me save. Watch the browser, you see what will happen. The single file now have changed to files. Multiple means now you can upload 2 or 3 files. Ordinarily, it's just one file. You select, it will not give you room. It won't give you room again. But if I come across it somewhere, I will explain. But here, with this multiple, you can select 2 or 3, 4, more than one, what do you call a file. But there, that attribute there is a Boolean attribute. There's another thing here. Our label is about to finish. Do you need a laptop? For laptop, yeah, do you need a laptop? Is a question. You can answer that if you want. So we need the input with a checkbox. We're building something that looks like a form. Building the laptop. It's like a checkbox, but name is ID, laptop, laptop. We'll have a value there. Yes. Then keep it check for us. If otherwise, then have to notify us. Oh. Then since the form is long like this, I think it will be good we put a reset button. Input, real, reset. The value is reset. Let's leave ID and whatever for now. We'll look at our form, then correct that out there, and capture out. It's a reset. So if you fill these forms like this and subscribe, you don't like it, you click reset and find yourself in 0. There's another thing again we need to take care of. That is input type image. Do I have it there? Of course. Input type image. But do I have, maybe I do. I have an image, I have a folder here. Okay. Thank God I have something. What is the image did not show? I will have done image. I don't think I have much to explain here. The alternate is a submit button. Possible submit image, please. All right. Title. Let's give the title in case you see it and you don't understand what it says. Click to submit your form. Let's give it some style so that it will have some dimensions. Let's say 45 since it's image, and the height 45 pesos. Did I give that pesos? Close that and okay, let's this reset. Give you a break there. Okay, you can see what we have here. The background of the image is white, the browser is white, so you may not see it, but I hope you can see it. And you can see it. Oh, you can see the background, okay. I like keeping my browser bold so I can, to be easier for viewers to have it right there. Even if there's a phone, you can easily access it. So you can use image as a submit. It's a type image, click style. The next one we see is our normal submit button. Do I use a label? Don't know. For submit, but you must put submit here. Right there we have input. What type of input is that? Submit. Then we'll have a value. A label, sorry, input is an empty tag. Whatever you put in a value will show. And so we need to, okay, let's not comment anything for now. Here we have a submit. We have a name, submit. And let's put a rectangle. Because I'm not building a form, I also have to introduce it to another one. Oh, sorry for that. Break. They have to be on their separate lines. And what is this guy doing here? Get lost, please. So submit. We don't need any notice. The type is submit. The value is submit. Okay, we have input. Let's pick up a button. Input button. Here, because it's an empty tag, we need to put something here. Submit, capital. Name is submit, lowercase. Oh, I've seen this before, kind of repeating this. So here you write your submit and you submit button. So I will get the difference between this one and that one. Type is button. Name. The name is very important when it goes to browser, even now, but much then. I don't think there's anything I've written here I didn't get. These two are just submit and submit button. I decided to leave them at the same level so that you can, because you can't use two of them in a form, you just take one. I don't think there's anything here I need to explain. Let me go through it again. Here, in data list, please ensure that this list in the input tag, this list, whatever that is in this property attribute, the value attribute, whatever is the value attribute, must be the same with the ID in the data list value attribute. If you make a mistake, try to alter them, give them something different, then you see what you will get. But the proper way is that this, whatever is in the ID of the data list, must be the same thing that is in the list in the input. They must be the same. These two, that's the most important. Any other thing should be relevant, but don't miss it. If you miss it, you will see what the outcome will be. Just try and miss it, then you will know what the solution will be. The only solution is to make sure they're the same. The ureters, the type we use here is range. Is this range that brought this slide here? I hope you can see it. Is that range? If you remove that range, then this thing will disappear. Then in the range, we say the minimum is 0, while the maximum is 10. The steps, the jump, the steps, you know what steps? The steps is to take will be 2. But the value that will be here is 4. If this is a normal input, if it's a test, you see 4 there. but because it's a range, it's at the 4th position. I hope that is true. And the next one is this check, subscribe. You just one checkbox. Click it, and with the name, I hope there's a name here. So with the name, it will help us in the database, and it will tell us, look, this guy selected that option. Subscribe, okay? Our next one is upload a file. To upload a file, here I put an attribute. I said I will explain this attribute more later, because I know I have it in my program. But here is, it helps you to select more than one. Say choose a file. Here, if you look here, you will see I can choose. Look at this, means you can select this. This means again that you can select it. And I said open. Here said 3 files. Choose files, said 3 files. Before it told you to select, but now the browser knew that you have selected. So, but if I remove this multiple of a thing, if I remove this multiple, then refresh my browser, I come here. It says it's no more choose files, it's now choose file. You select, it opens. Select here. That box here, that square box here that will help you select 2 or 3 is gone, and it's gone forever, and you can't see it again because of this attribute. I hope you get that. So that is the work of that. If I come across it, I'll explain, but I don't think I have any other things to explain since I've done it here. So that is it. And the next one is your normal checkboard. You need laptop, and then reset button, you know it. This is an image, submit. Don't think there's anything. Just a little thing I want to show you is very, very important. You need to have this. A kind of, let's use radio button to do one or two things. A small question thing, like a question with radio button. Head to question with radio button. Question is, which of the following is not a programming language? Which of the following is not a programming language? Let me hit my break tag here. If I use 2 for that, I can use 3 for this. Oh, which of the following is not a programming language? I copy this and get out of this. And I have my form. We say label for option. Option 1, Python, inputs, radio. Give me some radio buttons. Name is question. ID Python. Value is Python. Then we save this and see how, okay, the Python is coming before the radio. Let's take the label to come after the Python, and if it has come after, you need to give it a. Then I have a input type is radio, question 1, ID Python, and whatever. Okay, let me copy. Multiple questions always 4. So let's have to. First one is Python, and Java. Anywhere we have Python, you put Java. Change the languages. ID is Java. In other place, these 4 should be the same because we're in question 1. Then the question name should also be the same. This one is HTML. In other place, HTML. JavaScript. There is the value, the ID here. Near a place. Gerard, please correct by yourself. Okay, I'll save. Come here. If you look at the browser, you can see questions. You can select. So with JavaScript or PHP, this can be submitted into a database. You select. So the questions you normally see, that's how it's being handled. You go to exam, you see questions like this. That's radio button. As far as they have this, in as far as they have the same name, they'll be grouped together. They have the same group. You can only select one. I hope you get that point now. There is a question I wrote to some schools like that. And in that, if you select, it's given a color. The question is given a color. But what if you selected and you're not sure, you want to unselect? What do you do? That's a question. What do you do? You don't want, like now I've selected. Initially when we came here, it was not selected. Can you still remember? It was like this. Now you have selected. And you don't want to be in that way. What do you do? Wow. We'll see that one later. So that is it for now on that, what they call it, question with radio button. In this, please correct that. C++. Now we have this space for the open and close tag. I've shown you the difference between select and data list. I don't think there's more anything left there. So that in data list you make sure that the list and the ID are the same. If you can do that, I think you're okay. You're good to go. The input you have, what is the data list? This select, data list is down here. In this input, this list, whatever is inside the value, which is prod language, must be the same thing with what is in the ID. The moment you do that, you're okay. I don't think there's any other problem. And there's another important thing in form which we should handle before we close that section. You know it very well. Textarea. We'll call it comment. We normally use it to return comment to whosoever that owns that. I'll show you what test areas are and what is test area. Textarea element. It's an element. You can see it there. Sorry. Test area. You saw what I did now? Okay, I undo it. Did you see how it is now? Okay, let's see name. Comment. Some ID. Comment. Column. Columns. Probably 30. Rows. That is 30 columns, 10 rows. You know what is a row? You know what's a column. Then I have a placeholder. Drop your comment here, something like that. Drop your comments here. And I save. Get up our browser. You can see what we have there. I put up some break because I'm still coming to. Let me copy this into 3. Something I want to show you. Let me expand this browser so you can clearly see what I want to show you now. Here, the first one, should it be 2 or 3? Okay, let me show you 2. Okay, let me show you 3. Show you 3. Drop your, copy that, no time to. Drop your comment here. There are 3 I've shown you now. This one, these 2, and this 3. Hope you get it. I have 3. Check these things now. The second one, this is the first one. This is the second one. The second one could not give us any placeholder because of this space I gave here. Look at this. I close it and I save. Did you see what happened? The placeholder returned. If you put space there and save, the placeholder will disappear. There won't be any placeholder. And see where it's starting. But this first one, that the closing tag and the opening and the closing tag are still together without anything in between. Come here. The moment you start typing, whatsoever in the placeholder will disappear. And see where it started. See where it started. But this one, see where the thing started. Let me save again so you'll see. See where this one will start. See where this thing started at the beginning. But this one, when I start writing, can you see my cursor? When I start writing, see where it started. Then, this last one is even the worst. I don't just understand it. Look at this. See where it started. Then, see when I shift this to, oh, sorry for that, please. I shift this to the end. It shifted to the end. But it's not even, you can see, I can see, please, spellings are to be ignored here. The computer, the ones the computer needs are, the ones that the computer needed, they are okay, but the ones I'm writing for myself, sometimes it can be funny. All right. So here, if you go to the end, the beginning, it goes to the beginning. That is not even the problem. The problem now is when you write, it is still there. It will not go. You have to clean them up before you start writing. And that is not what placeholders are. That is to say that the best one, the real one, or the main one is the first one. If you open the close, if you put anything in between, even if it is space between the opening and closing tag, you have problem. Then if you put anything there, that thing will not go out. It won't be a placeholder. You can see that we have placeholders here, here, and here. This second and the third, they are placeholders, but they are not placing and they're not holding anything for us. So the appropriate one is the first one, which is this very one. Hope you get it. I don't know if I can comment no, let's leave it. Let them be there while teaching. If you're not in a class, you need to understand. You can go on and copy all of them. That's for you. But if you happen to be in the class, I don't think you will have any problem. So that will be it for now in this section. It's an elaborate session. I have to say that it's not been easy. How many hours you can check at a time, how many hours we have gone far into what we're doing. In the next section, we'll see what we can do to continue. Thank you. All right. In this section of the tutorial, we'll be considering HTML5 form attribute. This is a section. Initially, I told you that we'll have two sections. This is one of the sections. Here we have our head 2, HTML5 form attribute. You can see that our browser. Okay. Here we'll be considering attributes. That's the first section of this section. We'll be considering the, let me put that so you understand. These are normal form. You all know this. These are form element. And this form element, instead of me to put something like this, maybe I have an input text. And if I save at the browser, you can see it at the browser. But I'm not going into this. I'm not going into this for now. What I call form attributes, or form element attribute. Let's put it that way. Form element attribute. This is the form element. Inside this form element, inside the opening tag of the form element, there are attributes like 4 or 5 of them. They are important in the development of web, but most times we might ignore them. And sometimes we only consider two of them. That's action and method. But right now I want to, since I'm teaching, I don't want to leave any stone unturned. So I'm prepared to make sure I bring everything there so we can easily understand them. So the first one is action. This action is very, very important. Here, if you leave it vacant and you submit a form, you are submitting it to the page where it takes. There are two ways you can submit it to this page. This action is the attribute that takes care of the form we submit. By the time you click the submit button, where are you submitting it to? Who are you sending it to? Anytime you click the submit button in a form, who are you sending that form to? The person you are sending the form is whosoever is inside this action. Like here now, we're having index2.html. And we save. Did I say dot? And we save. If we submit this form, it's submitting it to itself. If I send it to index.html, it's submitting to this our initial form. So anywhere you send this to, whatever you write here is what you submit it to. That one is obvious. So if you write it to a file that is somewhere, give it a nice location, a nice link. It will just link that one and submit there. Probably where your JavaScript or your PHP is to collect the data and keep it wherever you want them to be. But this action, what it does is, anything you put here, it will just follow it when you click the submit button. If there's no action attribute and its property here, then there will be a problem. So, but it's always there. And know that whosoever that is in this place is the person that received your message in that form. Hope you get that one. But next one is method. Method will have different types. We have get and post, or we'll have post and get, whichever way. One of them is post. We'll have post or we'll have get. Normally, search engines will use get because most of the things you do will be seen at the search bar of the browser. But in post, probably you are dealing with confidential things like forms or details of people, password and all the rest of them. You don't use get to do that, but you use post. Post hides everything. Correspond to the HTTP post method. Form data are included in the body of the form and sent to the server. So anything you do there is definitely being sent to the server, and you can't just get somebody's data that's supposed to be confidential. You send it to the browser. That will be inappropriate. So we normally use confidential things for posts, and something like search engine and all the rest of them. Since it's not something secret you are searching, it's not confidential. Meanwhile, the information is there. You are getting it. It's not that you are putting. When you are getting information that is there, it's not confidential again. Probably not for you. Anything on the web is not for you, so it's not confidential. But when you are sending something to the server, it's good to use a post method. So it could be post or get, whichever way. You don't use two of them, you use any of them at a time. Next one is autocomplete. Autocomplete can be set to on or off. The autocomplete is there to help you if you have previously filled a form. When you come back, if it is on, it will help you fill a form. Then it will automatically help you, assist you since you have done this thing before to help you. That is when it is on. But what if it is, let's say it's on, it will help you do that. But there's something again, you have a autocomplete here. Autocomplete here, let's say it's set to off. That in the form attribute is set to on. This one here is set to on. To autocomplete whatever is inside this form, inside this element. Good. But if a particular input is saying off, for that input, autocomplete is not going to work for it. It will only work for others. If there are other inputs here, in the form, this is number one. Let's say there's another one here, and that one doesn't have autocomplete. The one in the form here, this one here, can help this one too, but cannot help because this one has been turned off. Probably the password. You say put other ones. This is the password. Don't put for me. Something like that. So that's what it does. Okay. But through with that. The next one is Novalidate. This is an attribute. The moment I start writing the text editor will help. Novalidate is what they call it, a Boolean attribute. just like that. What it means is don't validate. This Boolean attribute indicates that the form is not to be validated when submitted. Just whatever I put in the form, just take it to the server. Don't need to validate unless the server is there to check. But if there's no code telling the server, say check, it will just take whatsoever here. Anything I put at the password, just take it and drop it there for me. If this attribute is not specified, this default setting can be overridden by a form non-validate attribute. Sometimes we have it at the form. If it is here, it says non-validate, means don't do that. Take it straight. Unless just say 1 in the button. But apart from that, we just carry it and go straight. So we have seen action, we have seen method, we have seen autocomplete, and we have seen non-validate. Then the next one we see, which that one is very important. This one is called ID. ID. Let's say the value there is form 1. Here we'll have this text. I remove this. Maybe we have our first name. The name of this is first name. Let's leave ID and some other things. Break tag. Then under here we have our button. Input. Submit. Where are you? Submit. The value is submit. I think we still have a browser here. And I save. We'll have a first name, we'll have submit. Then down here, we'll have our last name, label. Let's have our label for last name. We'll have our input. Is a test, and name is last name. Then there's an attribute called form. This form, let me expand the browser so that we can get it clear. If you look at the form here, apart from all these attributes I put here, you can see the ID. This ID is different from the IDs I've been using. The is function now, this is the first time putting ID in form attribute, in form element. This is the first time. Other IDs I've been putting have inside the input. But now this ID has a value, this property value ID, this property attribute ID has a property value called form1. I put it, I name it, I can call it anything. Then that form1 is also needed in this. In as much as this ID has the same value with the form, both of them are linked together. If you check, if I save now, you can see what happened here. Put my break tag here. I probably put a break tag here. Here. This form is assumed to have ended here. Everything about this form ended here. But because of this very ID inside this form 1 and form 1 are the same. Two of them will submit. We will not get this thing clearly now till when we get a PHP. I don't want to stretch myself and start bringing PHP at this level. It is too dangerous to do that. I have to patiently teach HTML and separate that one. Then go to CSS and also put that one. When I go to PHP or JavaScript, probably when I go to, because PHP will be the third one. When I go to PHP, I'll come back to these ones. Most of these things I'm teaching that you might not understand, or you might have questions, or you might have doubt about them. You'll see how we use PHP to join them. You may have a, let's say we'll have a test here. We'll have a Lauren 500. And we save. You can see that at the browser. This is our first name. My first name might be mascot. I can submit, but no problem. But what if I write my first name as mascot and I say it has not finished? It's down there, the form, and I say the other one is me there. You can go back and submit. Both of them will be submitted. Both of them will submit in that server. Because of this linking, I can put this one as the first. You can put this one as the first and put the other one as the second, whichever way. What is important is that linking. What is important is that form 1 ID and the form. Both of them, you can come here and fill your media and go down the form there and fill your mascot. Then submit. Both of them will submit. If you have doubts, want to go to PHP, I'll do that. I don't want to get into bringing some PHP code, submitting, and you see 2 of them. I've tried it, it's working, and some other people are using it out there. You must have seen the form. If you are online and you frequently look for things like this, you must have seen it, though you didn't understand what happened. The only thing that the code that joined 2 of them is this form 1 and this form 1 inside this very form. I hope we get that. So the ID and the form, they work together. I would like to remove this in place. I don't want to be blocked by multiple tests like this. It's too much. Is this thing actually going out? All right. It seems endless. Okay. We are together again. So whichever way you put that. The other things I would like to consider: input attributes. I've handled some of the input attributes. Input attribute. We'll do a lot of fun things today. The action is there, wherever it is, and the method. I'm not using them now. I'm not going to use them. We'll have our first name there. Then this is for first name. Then there's the label. Then the input should be a text. The name should be first name. Let me put the ID. Alright, I don't have to go in details filling the form because of what I need. I just want to show you something. We have the first name, probably the last name. They will have our submit. Do I have a submit here? Let me pick up that submit. Submit is submit. So I have a submit there. And they will have another submit. Here we'll have what we call, meanwhile what I'm considering is called Formaction Attribute. Formaction Attribute. Formation attribute is what I'm considering. Formation attribute. So here we'll have attributes called form action. It's probably submit to admin.php. And this action too is submit to this very one, index2.html. Let me expand this to about what is happening in the browser. And the value there, okay, submit as admin. Okay, let's expand this. I explain, then we'll go to the browser. Here I'll have your normal form, a normal post or get, whichever way. When we go to the PHP, we'll see the value of this post and get. But like I've told you, post is we normally use to send information to the server. You are collecting someone's data. It's not good. You make it open. So confidentially, you channel it to the server. It goes down to the database and stay there where nobody will see it. Here, the action is where am I submitting it to? Who is going to collect this? Who am I sending this message to? You are sending this message to index2.html. Good. But here is when you click this button. When you click this button, these two will happen. These two attributes in the form element will happen when you click that. But there's something going on here. After that submit button, which you know very well, this one at the end here is still submit. The value is submit to admin. This, which is irrelevant. This very one here is irrelevant because it's just an information to the browser telling the user. This one too is irrelevant. But what we're considering is form action. This form action here, if you remove the form, next thing is what? Action, which is the same thing you have up here. So it's telling you what the form action should be. That this form action is overriding whatsoever that is in index 2. You are not going to see what is saying. Look, I'm going to submit you, but don't send this message to this index.html. Do you get that? Who am I going to send it to? There's another person you're going to send it to. Don't give it to the wife. Give it to the what? To the husband. That's what they say. Normally, by default, anytime we submit, we obey what is in action. But now, because of this very form action, don't obey what is in action. Obey what is in form action, which is an input. And what is it directing you to? Is directing you to submit this form to what? Admin. So it means the index2.html will be waiting, and there's an action diverting this thing to another person. I hope you get that. So let's look at it at the browser. Here at the browser, look at it here. What is your name? My name will be mascot. If I submit this, if I click on submit, it's going to submit it to index.2. Sorry, it's going to submit it to index2.html. But if I click submit as admin, it will definitely submit it to this, whatever that form action is saying. And that form action is saying that we should give it to admin.php. So this way, the form action will override whatever that is in action in the form element. Hope you get that point. It's very simple. There may be reasons for this, and we'll come across it much later. But it's simple. If you're an admin, you fill this form. We don't want to make two forms. It's just one form. We don't want to make two forms. But what we actually made here was form action. We made two actions. One for action and one from action and one from form action. So instead of duplicating these two forms, so that admin will fill here submit, and the ordinary person or the employee will also other users will fill and submit. No, we use the same, but we have two different submit buttons. That's what happened here. One form, two different submit buttons. If you submit this, you are submitting as admin. If you submit this, you are submitting as ordinary user. It's simple and clear. Hope you get that. All right, we'll go to the next one. The next one will be Formmetype. Formmetype Attribute. Still have our form. The action is there, probably index2.html. If I have a method, for what we're dealing with, method has to be post. The Formmetype. With Formmetype, you're going to have a post method, not a get. I still have to copy this, our first name and whatever. Not going to use too much input here. We'll have a label. I can put our horizontal row here to be drawing free line for us, so you can. And also put a break tag here, so that we can't sink our eye right inside the bottom of the browser to fix out something. Okay. So we'll have our first name, we'll have submit. We'll have input again. Input is submit. So Formmetype, we'll have a multi-part slash form, multi-part slash form data. We'll have three of them there. Let's pick up this one. In the value, we say submit as multi-part slash form data. Type. So if you look at the browser, you see what happened here. It is still one form with two submit buttons. This type overrides the type attribute of the form element. Sometimes the form element can carry it. The Formmenctype attribute is used with a type that is submit and a type that's image. So here we have it at the browser. You can see it here. It's either you submit with this one or you submit with the other one. And one thing you should know that it is normally used with post, not get. Pick up another thing. I still pick my submit. Or rather, let me pick the form itself. So the next one is Formmethod Attribute. I can still put my HR here. Draw line for me to demarcate the former one and the present one. All right, the form method. I remove this. Input type is submit. Input type is submit. The value there is submit using posts. Submit using posts. When I say submit using posts, you should know that the method here should not be post. Maybe in the form, the method used is get. Then you want two submit buttons. Form method, where is it? Oh, the value is submit using post. That's what you see at the browser. You can see it there. But there's another thing, or two things we see. Form method is an attribute. The form method to be used is post. But the form itself has a method called get. Then I want to submit this one with a post method. I don't want two forms. I don't need two forms. I just need one form. I want a situation. Look here. Submit this one to get. Let this one be submitted to the what? To post. I hope you get that. One form, but two submit buttons. One is when you click this, you're submitting to get. When you click the other one, you're submitting to what? To post. That's what it's all about. They'll have a form action. This is form method. Form action, because if form method is saying post, probably it is still sending to another place. So that is form action. There's an attribute too, which we have seen. Form action. Oh, sorry. So write some. Okay, let's say form action. Yeah, that's what I want. Form action is okay. Submit that file to mascot.php. That's the form. That's the name. That's where it is to be submitted. Let me expand this file to be clear. Look at it here. The type is submit. That's what gave us the submit button. Then there's a form method. Remember what we are considering? We are considering form method. The form we already have a method here. The method is get, no problem. That's the method in that form. Then inside this place, we have another method which is called post. One form. See the beauty of it, one form. But we're having two methods. And these two methods is that anytime you are clicking to this last submit, you are submitting to what? You are using post method. Apart from using post method, you are giving it to this guy called mascot.php. And this very last attribute is the one you are seeing at the browser. This value is what we are seeing at the browser. These two, we're not seeing them at the browser. There are people who are sending this message. Action and method. Action and method. Method defines the method is going to use, whether post or get. But please, there are other methods we have not seen. And we're not going to see them now. At the required time, we'll see them. Probably when we go to PHP or JavaScript, that's when we'll see them. So the method here is post. But there's an action, like I told you, action initial. Action is where are we sending them to? You see why I did not handle these things before handling action and method. Before I have to divide this form of a thing into two. I told you, because these other ones I'm going to explain, they are depending on these two, action and method. Look at all these things we have been doing since. Anyone we are doing, we are still referring back to action and method. So that is why I divided the form, and I grouped these ones under them all. So this form method is saying, instead of using this method at the form, use this one post. So if I click this submit button, it will use this very method. But if I click this submit button here, it will use these two. Let me put our browser predecessor will get it. Here, look at what we're saying. I save, so as you're sending any update, it will save. If you are clicking this submit button here, whatever that is here will be submitted to index2.html. But when you click this one that says submit using post, it will submit to mascot.php. Hope you get that point. Apart from submitting to mascot.php, it's going to use a method called post. But when you click the first one we call submit, it will submit to index.html and it will use a get. You see one form with two submit buttons. So the form method, that's what it does. Here we saw Formmenctype Attribute. Then here we saw form action. Remember the form action was used here. The form action was used here. Say send this to this guy. Don't send to the default. The default is the one in the form, but this is the second one. And this one here, as far as you click on this very input and everything, you say submit using post, it will override whatsoever. It will ignore whatsoever that is inside this place here. Hope you get that point. So if you click here on the last one, submit using post, it will ignore whosoever that be in that form. It doesn't even care. All right. Hope you get that. The next we see is Formnovalidate. Formnovalidate. Don't validate that thing. That's the next one. Formnovalidate attribute. Don't forget the attributes. I have a label. Let's use email. Input. I've seen email here before. Use email. Name is user ID. ID should be email. We have a break tag. Input type. So submit. And the value should be submit. Remember, we're considering Formnovalidate. Formnovalidate. Correct that. Okay, the last one we see there. Input type is submit. Before the value, Formnovalidate. Formnovalidate. Did you help me? Of course. Formnovalidate is a Boolean attribute. Is there. So let's see what happens in the value. Submit without validation. Submit without validation. Okay, we'll have a form again with two submit buttons. These two submit buttons are acting independently. Now, if the normal one is you click your mascot at email .com. This is my email. Look at what the browser is telling me. The browser is telling me that look, this thing is not correct. It said dot is used at a wrong position in .com. That's what the browser discovered. But my form is saying form no validate. Don't validate this form. Just drop it. Just drop it to the server. If I click on submit, remember, there's no action and whatever there. I don't care about it. You already know what actions are, so there's no need filling those things. If I click on submit, it will validate it because that is not on the form action. Look at what I'm saying. Here now, if I click, this is the input that is telling us to put email, which will put email. Then this guy, when we put the email, the browser discovered that, look, this guy, this email is wrong. It's not hard to put email. I said, no problem, just do it like that for me. Probably I don't know whatever that happened. So this type is saying submit. When you click on submit on this one, this first one, it will not. You know why it will not? Because it must validate it. By right, the browsers are supposed to say, look, this thing is not correct. But with this last one, if I click on the last one, it will go. Because there's what? Form no validate. Don't validate it. That is exactly what we're trying to explain here. The first one we validate, will actually, this thing is wrong. We do what the browser is doing. But the second one, we just carry it and go there. These things will be well explained with PHP. Of course, we know that. When we get to PHP, we have a section we call form. That section is going to be elaborate. I will revisit everything I've done in form in HTML. So that if there's any doubt, I will clear it there. So that by the time two of them are in the channel on YouTube, you don't need to ask questions, because when you have problem with the form, you go straight to a PHP and verify it. If you have problem with the PHP, you come back. So that's exactly what we'll do. So whatever it is, just get the explanation now and keep it up. When we're through the PHP, I will handle all of them. I will handle what I will do in PHP will be to clear everything, every doubt I've created. For now, I'm teaching. I know I'm creating some. How is it going to work? Has it been working? But in PHP, every doubt will be cleared. All right, so this one I said don't validate it, just submit it, whether it's good or not. Okay. The next we see, let me close that gap. Oh. The next will be Formtarget Attribute. Formtarget Attribute. You know, sometimes you submit a form. After submitting, then it will tell you your forms have been submitted, this and that and that. Hope you have seen something like that. Congratulations, your data have been submitted, this and that. Yes, that's a page. It's a page that is used to give you that, to display that message. So it's target. If you can remember what we did. Okay, let me pick up the first name form, since I'm lazy to type. And remove this. I have our first name there. Let me put the HR to draw a free line for us. And this will come up a little. Okay, form target. Input. Submit. Submit as normal. Submit as normal. Put out the break tag there. Submit, this one submit as normal. Then we'll have another one. Input. Oh, let me. Form target. I want it to be blank. Hope you can remember when we use this in our link. When you click a link, you want it to open a blank, or you want it to open inside, you want it to open a blank page. So when you submit a form, it tells your user, your data have been submitted, this has done, this has happened. Where do you want it to open? Inside that place or in another place? When you submit it, you want everything to be done, a message to be displayed to the user at that very page, or you want it to be another one. That's what I call form target. We're choosing blank. Submit to a new window. We have 3 buttons here. Okay, let me see if I can remove this one. Comment that. So whatever you fill in the form, no problem. Do whatever. You submit. When you click on this, or when you put this one, it's not necessary that it must be 2. But when you put this first one here, it will submit as normal, which we know very well. It will open there. But when you do this one, it will open in another place. Because of this form target, it will open in a blank page and give to the user, say, look, your data have been submitted. Your information, whatever, have been submitted. All right, next one is height and width attribute. These are things we see in form and give you details of every single thing. Attributes, element that be seen in form. That is what we're doing. So at the end of this form section, we must have covered like 90% of anything that can be seen, or if not 95% of anything that can be seen in form. That's what we're doing. Then when you want to build a form now, you can go back and select the ones you use. We're not saying that you should use every single element and attribute that we have displayed here in a single form. But what we're doing is to ensure that every element, attributes in form element have been taken care of. So next one, like I said, is height and width attribute. In our head to so we type our form. We use our input to be test. Name is first name. The ID is first name. Okay, how much? Let's use our label for first name. We'll put our HR. So here, I have a break tag. Input type, image. The source is, do I have image here? I have image here. I have more. We have an image here. Okay, we have image. The alternate is submit. Image is involved, so let's involve title. Is submit. Have width. It's 90. Height. It's 19. We'll have something like this. You click on it and something will happen. It's submit. So we're using this. The type is image, but the width and height is telling us the width and height of the image. And that's what we'll have on the browser here. The next one we see is very important. Very. We see minimum and maximum. Minimum and maximum attribute. I don't have to write it in full. Min and max. We have our form. Whatever action, I'm tired of that. I will not be writing action. You know what action is, you know what method is. So this min and max specifies the minimum and the maximum value of an input element. The minimum and the maximum attributes work with the following input types like number, range, date, time, which we will see later in this tutorial, what the difference between datetime and datetime-local. We'll have month, we'll have time, and we'll have week. These ones I've mentioned, I think we have seen them. I think we have seen, yes, we have seen number and range. We have seen date, but the datetime, the difference between the datetime and datetime-local, we've not seen it. Only if we have seen month, time, and week. These are things we'll see in this very tutorial, in this section. So we have this form. We have a label. Label is for date before. Date before. The date before. Enter a date before. (1970) 01. That's instruction. Label has always been for instruction. Input type is date. If you check here, you realize that we have gone far. I think we have gone far. The remaining ones, we'll finish them. So the input type is date. Name is birthday. Birthday. Date of birth. Max, the maximum is 1960. Let me finish writing so we can explain these things. Go to the browser and explain them. We have a free line there. We save the up at the browser. The date picker is here to help, but I will do explanation later. Label is date after. Enter a date after. Our input. The input should be date. We have a birthday, date after. We have a mean. That one was maximum, max. This is mean. Whatever that is inside this place is telling the browser what to do. But whatever that is white here is telling the user what to do. Hope you get the point. Whatever that is here is telling the user instruction. Then the user will know what to enter. But whatever that is here now, whatever I've highlighted is talking to the user. Then if I put a wrong instruction here, if what is here in this white one and the text editor here is different from what is here, then there will be a problem because it will misdirect the user. But if they are the same, after, enter a date after 2000. This one is enter a date before. Okay. Then we'll have the next one is label. Please, if you're just joining us, we're not building a project. We are ensuring that we bring out every element and attribute in form, and that is what we are doing. So if you look at what we are doing, it may be scattered. That's how we want it to be. If you are building any project, you come here, or if you have a problem with forms, you come here and see these sections, see them section pieces by pieces. Then you can gather them, select the ones you need, go and build any kind of project you want to build. That is what we are doing. We might build project after next, but right now we're not building projects. We are teaching every single element and attribute that is seen in form. I hope you get that. Thank you. Then for quantity, this quantity is between 1 and 5. You can also put our columns here for want. Yeah, the input here. What should the input be? Let's pick it to be a number. Input will be number, and the name will be quantity. The ID has to be quantity. The minimum is 1, and the maximum, of course, you know, should be 5. We have a break tag here. Then we have our button. That button should be a submit button. Like I told you, if you are using a button which is not an empty tag, you must put something in between here, and that is what the browser will see. Whatever you put here now, whatever I type now is what the browser will see. That is what, if you want, let me say submits, which is Z, so submits, you can see it there. So I remove it, you submit. I hope this is clear now. Let's have this, say label, say date before. Enter a date before, there's an instruction. Say enter a date before 1970. That's what the browser told you. That's what the code told you. Enter a date before. Let me expand the browser. Enter a date. I hope you can see it too. Okay. Anybody can see this. Enter a date that is before 1970, January, whatever. I use our calendar here. Look at what it gave to me, 1960. It's 1960. So this one is directing the user, while this one is directing whatever we're going to put here. I say enter a date before 1970, January 1st, 1970. Dates that are before should be 1960 done. That is what you have. You see, this has been disabled. You can't go front. You see it? But look at this. Keep changing. Now, this is active now. If you get to that end, it will stop going again. I hope you can see that. And we use maximum. This one is enter a date after, and we use minimum. I hope you get the game here. So what is important is this minimum or this maximum. You say you cannot exceed this. Minimum is 6. That's why when you check here, look at it. The date we put there is 2000, January 1st, 2000. And we said a date, enter a date after. January 1st, 2000. I have to go back to the text editor to ensure what I put there, not what is on the browser. The browser you might make mistake. Nothing is checking them. So I have to go back there to see. It told me month, day, year. But it's obeying this. Enter a date after. Look at it. Today's, look at the date it's using. So it's telling you to enter a date after. That is why these two buttons are active, not disabled. They say a date after. But this one says enter a date before. So a date after 2000, where this is 2002, 2022, 20 years after. So that's why this button, if you keep going back, you get to a point, since it's saying 2000, date after 2000. If you get to 1999, it won't be active. In fact, you will not see it at the browser here. The date picker will not allow you to see it. It will disable it and will not show it to you because you don't need it. You're not going to submit it here. So that is exactly what we get in this minimum and maximum. I hope you get the point. This is not a project. It's not a form. I'm not using two of them here. If I'm using, I have to adjust the date, but I just put them here. This one is maximum. This one is minimum. Then the last one here, I use two of them. In this last one, I use both the minimum and the maximum. The quantity I want you to put is between 1 and 5. The minimum is 1 and the maximum is 5. Then submit the form or whatever. I'm not even supposed to put the submit button here. Look at what happens at the bottom. If I put 1, no problem. 2, no problem. 3, no problem. 4, no problem. 5, no problem. 6, it will not go to 6. If you get to 1, it will not go to 0. Okay, if you like, remove that one. Put 5, it will go, no problem. Put 2, it will go, no problem. Put 6, it will go. But when you want to submit it, then you will see. To tell that I did not accept it, say value must, look at this, value must be less than or equal to 5. That's what that browser is telling you. When I put 4, is there any instruction it's giving me? No instruction. The browser knew exactly what instruction that is supposed to dish out. The browser got it, said the maximum is 5, and also got the minimum is 4. So any other thing you are putting here, browser will also know, say, look, this guy is not obeying instruction. So that's all I can give to you, a minimum and maximum attribute. We'll go to the next one, which is multiple attribute. This multiple attribute, if you can remember, if you are with us, been through with us, you remember we came across it somewhere. But this is where it's supposed to be, and I want to explain it there. Here, I did explain it there, but if you come across that one there and you're coming across this one, that's double for you. So multiple attributes. Now form. There's not much we'll put in this form. The multiple attribute is a Boolean attribute. So we have do our first name here. Just look for something cheap or copy. So copy this, put it here. Label. It's going to be for file. Select files. Select files. Input type is file. The name is file. Give it an ID of file. Since the label is file, they will have a multiple. It's a Boolean attribute. Then we have our main submit. Input, submit. The value is submit. We have our form there. All right. So we have the first name is mascot always. Then it says select files. I'll tell you why it says select file, because of this multiple here. If I remove that and save, I want you to check what is happening here. It says select files, choose files, no file chosen. Let me save here and see what happens. It have removed select files. I wrote it, so it's not going to change it. Then choose files have been removed to choose file. The number of files. If I'm to put that attribute back, you see what happened. Number of files is still number of files, but here choose files have changed. All right, let me remove it again. Keep removing and put it to get it. Here I save. If I am to select a file here, you go there, you only select one. There's supposed to be a square box here to select. So you can select this, select that. But it's not there because of this multiple that have been removed. So let me put the multiple back and save. Whatever your mascot, no problem. We'll choose. Remember, it says choose files. I select. See the box. Can you see the box now? This box entails that it means that you can select as many. You select, you say 4 files, you submit, and that is gone. At the help of this attribute, even this image we want to select, you select here, anything you want to select here, image or whatever you are selecting, you have 2 or 3. It's more than one. You select and you submit, I don't know where I'm submitting it to. You submit it to anywhere and it will go there. So that is what multiple attribute does for us. It allows you to select more than one. That is one thing that they show. Whether it's file or image, you select more than one. I hope you get that. All right. We'll have the next one. Step attribute. We must have seen this, but step attribute. I have a label for username. Remember, you can handle this input inside, but because of clarity and I'm teaching, I want to do it outside. You can nest it. You can nest this empty element inside this place, before the closing tag. So label this. They will have name, the username. I'm not supposed to put this in, so I'm not going to submit any form. Label for points. Okay, 4 points. Minimum 0 and the maximum maximum 180. Then we have a input type number. I've seen something like this before, but input type is number. Points. ID, since the label is points. We just saw something like this. Minimum is 0. Remember, it's from 0 to 180. Maximum is 180. So step, how it's going to be taken. 1 or 2 steps I'm going to teach you is very important, because in HTML5 we use number and decimals. If you put number and use decimal, it will disagree with you. But this step can be of help to you. The step, I want you to move in step of 5. Oh, move in step of 5. The value I want to see at the browser when the page loads will be 25. Then title, enter a number that is divisible by 5, something like this. Enter a number that is, or enter a number divisible by 5. Do I need some? Yeah. Let me expand the browser. Let me know where I need there. Okay. Label this, label that. That should be okay for now. Okay. What is said is X. Username, no problem. Do whatever. Say username. Minimum of 0. That is the number. Minimum of 0, maximum of 180. But the value, minimum of 0, get away. Minimum of 0 and maximum of 180. No problem. But the step you move at is what? 5. But when the page loads, I want to see 25 inside it. That's the sentence here. And you can see it. I click. It's an enter number divisible by, did I say 6? That's what it said. It wasn't me. It's all right. So I save a number divisible by 5. So, okay. If I click this, it will be going in step of 5. I hope you can see that if I click this, it will go in the step of 5 till it gets to 180. If it gets to 180, it will not go again. It will never. To start highlighting, because here it was stated that the maximum is 180 and here the minimum is 0. You cannot get anything like that. If you put it on the time of submission, you cannot submit it. I hope you get that. We saw something some minutes ago in this very tutorial. But there's another one. The second step you need to know when it comes to this input. Okay. Second step. You need to be aware of this because in those days it used to be a problem for us. Here we have our form with actions and method, no problem. Text, no time. Input, some break tag. Number, this is supposed to go into label. Hope you're aware of that. Input. The input is a number. Keep the number. And the name and whatever, you can fill that later. But I want to show you something. Step 0 point maybe. But then what is important is here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 decimal places. It must be ended with a significant number. 1, 2. Let it not end with 0. That's what you should know. For example, now let's say I have this. It ended with 1, 2 decimal places, something like that. I save. Let me also put a number here, a line here. Here, test is put your test. But here is a number. You can put 12, no problem. There's no problem, no headache. What if it's not a decimal? So what if it's a decimal? You put 10.5. It will not accept. I'm not submitting, so you cannot see any problem here. Okay, I've already solved the problem. So it's just not going to be a headache. Let's see the headache. If I put 5, no problem, but 5.6. Look at the problem. Look at it. I hope you can see the headache. Now it says, please enter a valid value. The two nearest value, blah, blah, is 5 and 6. Because I put a decimal. But this, no problem. If I put this, no problem. If I put any integer you put, no problem. But if you put any floating number, brother will call you back and won't be happy with you. But when I put this step here, 0.01, two decimal places. Here you have here 0.12. No problem. It says enter a valid. Did you see that? Enter a valid value. What if I make this to be 3? 5.01. Any headache? Did anybody call us? No. What if I put here? We have 3 decimal places. Did anybody call us? Think no. What if I put somebody's calling because we have 4 decimal here and 3 here. So if you want to give it, make it fit through it open, you can put enough number and we'll fill again. 4.234. Oh, 40 point. Nobody's calling you because this is 5. Think 5 numbers there, but here I will have many of them. But what you should know that the number must end with a significant number, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If I remove this one now and save, meanwhile, let me copy this number. And I save the browser. Okay, I put here. It accepted it. So, but it's always good to end it with a significant number. Then you can put 1 or 2 or whatever. Normally, I like putting 1. So the browser is counting how many you are allowed. This is 4, 8, maybe 10. You're allowed 10. Probably that is good. Wondering what would make the person. You can see here, we say, please enter a valid number. Here. It's gone. If we have 4 point, this username. So, is anybody calling us back? Nobody's calling because we have like how many digits? 10 digits here in decimal places. So that's all I can give to you on step. We have to, based on this step, is going to jump in 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. The step is going to jump with 5. But here we have something. If you are dealing with number, because there's a project I'm writing and it's going to be on calculation, be on mass projects. So initially when I started it times back, I got issue with it. But when I got the problem of this step, everything about decimal all disappeared for HTML5. All right, the next one we come across will be color. Depending on the browser, it will support you. The browser will support you, get a color picker for you when this is established. We have our form. Right in the form, we have label, his first name, we have our input. The input should be color without being told. We have seen bottle, we have seen check, we have not seen, have we seen date? Yes, we have seen, think we've seen date. And we got the color picker from the browser. We're going to see color now. The other ones who have seen email, we have seen file. He did not. Image, you have seen months, I don't know, what's number, passwords. I think we're getting through. Radio bottle, range, you have seen. We got that slide. Reset button. Search, we'll see it in the tutorial. Submit, we have seen. Tell, think, phone, we dealt with phone. So test, we've been seeing test. Time, think, URL, week. We'll see all of them. So, but what are we doing with now? We're dealing with color. By this, a color picker is chosen for us. And you can see that at the browser, that waste of time. The color picker is there. Let me put first name. Supposed to be a label for that. For color. Select your favorite color. Select your favorite color. I don't want to go in details like filling names or whatever. I'm here to show you there's a type that is called color. And when you select it, see what it does to your brother. That's what I'm doing. So some other names and ID, you can keep them. If you have followed us, okay, let me fill it. In case you didn't follow us, you just come here to look for color as a type. How is it being used? However, should we have input submit to? I don't know. Or submit. Okay. Our break tag. Oh. Okay. Yeah, you have a first name does not input for you. Okay. Who is tired here? I don't know if I'm the one or you. So at the end, they will have a break tag. Okay. That's okay. First name, select your favorite color. Let me expand the browser so it will be easier for you to see and understand. So when you click this, it gives you a color picker. You will have your reds, blue, green to red again. Right now we'll go to CSS color. You will know why this is always like this. Check in any browser. It starts with red and ends with red. Our RGB, this is arrow. Where it is now is arrow. This is G. Sorry, this is G and this is blue. Green, arrow, GB. This is supposed to, in the color way, it's RGB, you can see it here. So it's always start with red and end with red, anyhow it is. So what you are seeing a color picker at the browser. You can select any color you want and the browser will submit it. To submit it, you can see these numbers have changed. It's going to submit these numbers to you. Simple as that. This is the HSL. We'll see this HSL, the hue, which is the color, the saturation, and the lightness. We see it right there. We have the hexadecimal. We have come across this in our HTML here. In CSS, we're still going to see the HTML. These are exactly what we learned in the color. We studied two types of color, the RGB and the the hexadecimal. So that's it. So this is the RGB, the hue, saturation, and lightness. We see that one in CSS color. We didn't see it in HTML color, but in CSS color, we'll come across it. Then the hexadecimal is always everywhere. Personally, I like this hexadecimal because of its number. I can easily cram it. All right. So then the color picker can be used. You take it, go somewhere, collect a color. You can see what I'm doing. I want to pick that blue there. It's trying to be stubborn. I click it, it's happening. If you use the color picker, you go anywhere, you see what is happening. This step, when you zoom it, you can see a lot of color that's inside it. Wow. I want to pick that coffee color, pick it, and it's here. So that's what color attributes can do for you. Having seen color, Let's go to month. So we'll have our head to month. This step is not also, step is an attribute. You see it here. Where is that step? Where is the step? You can see it's an attribute. Did I make a mistake in putting who again? Minimum and maximum attributes? I think the attributes, yes. Who again? Formtarget. These ones I can remember they are attributes. So label, please, I will not be doing those first those first name and whatever. For month, enter the month. Maybe admission month. It's an interview, it's a form you're filling. They're asking about admission month, when you were admitted and when you left the school. They will have the input is month. Input type, how many of them that month? You can see it there. So type is month, name should be month, and the ID should, based on what is in the label, is month. You can see what is at the browser. There's a date picker for us for the month. You click on it. Forget about other things like submit and whatever in the form. You know how to put those things. Look at it here. Oh, sorry for that. If I expand the browser, you click here. The calendar is there for which month? We're in November. That happened in February. You select February and it's 2000. Because there's 2000 here. You select February. Or it's in April it happened. And that one is gone. Let's see if there's any other one left. If there's month, let there be week. We also have week as a type. Week. You will see the date pick of the month, the difference between the date pick of the month and that of the week. So the type, instead of type month, we have type of week. It's there for us. Let me correct these ones. Mission week or whatever, first week or second week or whatever. If I'm to look at it here, you have it there. Use the date picker is there for you. You click. You want the program to be in the 48th week. Look at it, 48th week, and it's telling you the whatever. You can see it. So that's what we can do for us. It's a type, it's not an attribute. It's a type which is value attribute. These ones, even the month is a value attribute, please. It's not a property attribute. What I'm referring to is the property attribute. They are all attributes, but they are not property attribute. They are value. This one is a value. Week is a value attribute, please. Month is a value attribute. Color is also a value attribute. But step is not a value attribute. It's a property attribute. Step value property attribute. Multiple is a Boolean attribute. Please correct that. Color is a value attribute, not a property attribute. Month is also a value attribute, not a property attribute. And week is also a value attribute. Please, let's put that in a better way. Then there's something again in this one. It's about date. This date picker, Mozilla is not good in picking. You can try to see what happens in Mozilla. It will tell you to put the date by yourself. It doesn't have time to come and do all these things for you. Edge is good at that, and Google Chrome is also good at giving us that. So after week, let's see date time. Datetime-Local. Datetime-Local. Oh. Like I said, I'm not going to put the issue of first name, whatever. You can do that, but what is important is that we'll have a label, select the time, select the time, input. We have date time. It's no more being used. So let's use Datetime-Local. Go straight, use this one. Use that one and thank me later. We have our time. And submit. Since we're not submitting, I don't want to be putting those. Okay, let me put it there. Let it be there. Be there. And be here. Okay. Okay. Okay, we have this. We can see from the browser here, this time is different from all this one. See what we have here. This one, month, no week, but week, just week. Then here, date time. We use Datetime-Local, we don't use date time. Look at it now. You can see it has the full calendar. And look at the time that I have now. It says 11:44 a.m. That's my time here. And look at everything. It's showing you where I am now and every other thing. You can see it. So today is 8 and this is the time and everything. If you see there, if you look at it, you will know what is going on. So it's giving you the Datetime-Local. It's giving you the local time. So that is it. Let's go to the next one. Next one will be email. Have we seen email? Search. I think it's like we have seen email. Tell. I've seen tell. I have URL. I promise to give you every single thing in that type. Look at what I'm saying. Let's say we'll have this form. Okay. We'll have inputs. Look at it here. I know I've seen button. If you like forget, I will not forget. I've seen checkbox. If you like forget, I've seen color. I've seen date. What I did not see is date time because we don't use that again. So we prefer using Datetime-Local. Email. We have seen that. File. We have seen that. Hidden. We have seen that. Image. We have seen that. Month. The number. Password. We have seen it. Radio button. We have seen it. Range. Reset. Search is what we have right here in the browser and my text editor here. Submit, we've been seeing that a lot. Tell, I'm sure we have seen tell somewhere when we are doing a restriction, forms with restriction. We're able to tell you this is the pattern of the number. Hope you can see that. You can still remember. All right, test is what we'll be dealing with all this time. Then we see time. Time was the last one. The last one we saw there. We have seen time. Then we have not seen this URL. We have seen week. So URL with search is what we have not seen. But we're reaching it there. Let them all of them be there. So input. I'm seeing email. I'm not going to email because of our time. Search. Have we seen search? Search is the first one we'll have there. We'll collect search. Label for search. So it's for search. Let's keep searching. Google search. Search Google. You have it on the bottom. That's what it does. And we'll have a label. I've shown you all the types. I have a home page. Enter the home page. The input will be the URL. Name it should be home page. The ID should be the same home page. You know how to fill these things if you have been with us from beginning. And we have our BR tag to separate this. Okay, so you can put your search and put your home page and put your submit button and everything. They need your, it's an entire home page and whatever you put it and submit and it's gone. If there's any other thing I've not handled in form, probably you can drop that in the comment. We have taken all this time, almost up to 2 hours or 2 hours and the entire form in HTML. This is all I think I can give to you. But if you think that, look, there's something I didn't handle very well, please drop in a comment. Let's see who is right. If you are right, I'll still come back and follow you and do the right one. But if you're not right, we'll still correct it. But whatever you think I've not done in form, whether in any of them, input, whatever you can call it, please endeavor to put it at the comment section. And if there's any other thing I've not done I'm supposed to add, I will definitely add it as correction or make it. It is addition to it, whichever way we're definitely going to make sure we get the best from this very channel. I want to build this channel in a way that when you come here, you get everything. I'm about closing up. At least from what I have now, as you're listening to this very tutorial, I've gotten more than 70 something to or 80 something of it. I'm sure I'll get it to like 95% of HTML at this beginner's level tutorial, so that when you come here, you get anything you want. If the way I structured this, you didn't like it, or probably it's not good as a teacher, you can also drop it at the comment section. All we need is something that will be better for people that will come after you, so when they come, they grab it and they walk away. That's all I can give to you now on Form. In our next tutorial, we find something we'll do. Thank you, and see you in that next. Bye. Having gone this far, thank you for following me. This is our channel, Mascot Media Video. By name, I am Gilbert Angonye, presenting this very thing to you. It's my pleasure to have you here, and I'm happy you have gone with us up to this level. If you value this tutorial very much, please enable to click that like button, share to friends, and don't forget to subscribe. These are things that will make our channel grow. Like I always say, this channel is new, but I tell you that whatever we're teaching here is not new. But we are trying to put it in the better place, the better position, so that you can easily understand what we are doing here. We are teachers, and we are teaching. We are presenting the best to you, using the best approach, an approach that will make it easier for you to follow in what we are doing. That's what we can solve for now. Thank you, and see you next time. Bye.